Y'all ready?
Yes, we're ready.
I call this regular board meeting to order of the County CISD Board of Trustees. The time is 6 o'clock and the date is August 28, 24. Should have, I'll let our new student representatives to one lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the other in the Texas Pledge of Allegiance. If you want to go ahead and stand up and lead us into the cycle wants to do it. And the flag is...
Oh, we need to switch the flag, Dr. Galavis. Hold your glasses up. I know you did, right?
Are you ready?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
If you allow me, Mr. Chair, we need to apologize for the community because the flag is in the right side, should be by the right of our heart. So we were cleaning and they forgot to put it back. So please accept our apologies. Thank you.
Okay, that will take us to the next item.
Item 1D, roll call. Mrs. Barnes,
Present.
Ms. Borrego,
Present.
Mrs. Mendoza,
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
Mr. Cimenta,
Here.
Ms. Struck,
Present.
Ms. Zuniga.
Here.
Item 1E, CISD vision and mission statement.
Ms. Barnes, if you could lead us into the CISD vision and Ms. Trout into the mission statement.
The vision? Okay. The vision, we provide equitable opportunities to ensure our future ready students are empowered to explore, learn, grow, and excel.
And our vision statement, lead today, impact tomorrow.
And I'll take this to the next item.
Item number 2, board honors. Item 2A, swearing in of Jacob Lozano from Northwest Early College and Theodore Laughlin from Canopillo High School as the student advisors of the Canopillo ISD Board of Trustees for the 2024-2025 academic year. Presenter is Cristina Rodriguez.
Good evening, Board President Rodriguez, Dr. Galavis, members of the board. Can you please join us at the front of the dais for this evening's board honors?
We're going to do both of them. You want to join us?
We're going to introduce our new student advisors, followed by swearing them in as the new advisors for this academic year. It is with great pleasure that I introduce and formally welcome our 2 new student advisors to the Canopillo ISD Board of Trustees for the 2024-2025 school year, Jacob Lozano and Theodore Laughlin. Jacob and Theodore are here with us tonight not just as students, but as the voices of their peers. Their role on this board is vital as they will speak on behalf of the student body, providing valuable insights and perspectives that will help guide our decisions and ensure that the needs and aspirations of our students are always at the forefront of discussions. Jacob Lozano is known for his leadership, academic excellence, and commitment to service. His passion for student advocacy and his dedication to making a positive impact within our schools will undoubtedly enrich our deliberations. He currently serves as the student body president at Northwest Early College High School and mock trial vice president. He was one of only 4 candidates selected as a legal intern for the inaugural shared law firm internship. Jacob aspires to major in psychology and attend law school. Theodore Laughlin brings a strong sense of responsibility, creativity, and a deep understanding of the issues that matter most to students. His ability to engage with peers and bring their concerns to light will be instrumental in our efforts to create an inclusive and supportive educational environment. He serves as a linebacker and the team captain for the Canopio High School varsity football team, class president, student council president, and National Honor Society member, and is also a certified welder. He hopes to earn a bachelor's degree in finance, serve as an officer in the Marine Corps, and eventually own his own business. As student advisors, Jacob and Theodore will have the opportunity to contribute their ideas, share their experiences, and represent the voices of thousands of students across our district. Their perspectives will be invaluable as we work together to make decisions that shape the future of our schools and our community. On behalf of the entire Canopio ISD community, I want to extend a warm welcome to both of you. We are excited to have you on the board and look forward to the positive impact you will make in this important role. Thank you, and once again, welcome Jacob and Theodore. Board President Rodriguez, can you please step up in swearing in Jacob and Theodore?
You guys want to come this way so that way we could project more in the... So Jacob and Theodore, as student advisors, you will have the unique opportunity to represent the voices of your fellow students in our decision-making process. Your role is vital to ensuring that the perspective of our students are considered as we work to make our district the best it can be. Before you take oath, do you accept the responsibilities that come with this important position? Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of student advisor to the Canopio ISD Board of Trustees to the best of my ability and will, to the best of my judgment, uphold the principles of honesty, integrity, and respect while representing the students of Canopio ISD. I will strive to provide meaningful input, seek to understand the needs and concerns of all students, and work collaboratively with the Board of Trustees to ensure that every decision made is in the best interest of our district students. I make this commitment freely and without reservation. Congratulations to both Jacob and Tina. You are now We'll take a picture.
Get in the middle right here.
There we go. If I go down, you can't see me again. They're going to think that was... Okay, that works. All right. 1, 2, 3. Do you want to get the principal number? Yes.
Yes.
Principals. Oh, there he is. No, he's right back. He's right
Oh,
here.
right. Oh.
Yes.
He's
all
all
there.
there.
What?
Oh, he's back there.
Yeah, you go.
Tan escondido.
No, you're good.
We have a ready. There you go. 1, 2, 3. So, right. Good. Good job.
Take us to the next item.
Item number 3, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with District Policy BED Local. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. The board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, contact the Superintendent's Administrative Assistant. And Mr. President, we have 2 members of the audience that signed up for tonight. The first one is Ms. Julie Scott regarding SHAC, which is School Health Advisory Council.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Galaviz. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you tonight and speak to you. This is Tony Moreno, a proud parent of an Eagle at Alvarete Middle School, and my name is Julie Scott. I am the proud parent of a Firebird at Jose Damian and an Eagle at Canfio High School. I'm here tonight to speak to you as a co-chair of our School Health Advisory Council, also known as SHAC. I want to first thank all of the faculty and the parents that came out to help support our first meeting on Monday. Your support and ideas are invaluable and we appreciate them greatly. We are a parent-led group that works with diligence and fidelity to vet programs for our children and our staff to make it the best experience possible. A School Health Advisory Council is a group of individuals representing segments of the community appointed by the school district to serve at the district level, to provide advice to the district on coordinated school health programming and its impact on student health and learning. The SHAC will assist the district and ensure that local community values are reflected in the district's health education instruction. SHAC provides an efficient, effective structure for recommending age-appropriate, sequential health education programs and early intervention and prevention strategies that can easily be supported by local families and community stakeholders. The benefits of having a SHAC is to help address the health needs and well-being of our students through our work. We help district performance goals and alleviate financial constraints where we can. SHAC places an important role in communicating the connection between health and learning to school, administrators, parents, and community stakeholders. SHAC can help parents and community stakeholders reinforce the health, knowledge, and skills children need to be healthy for a lifetime. We have 2 main committees, Health Education and Wellness, and Mental Health and Bullying. In these committees, we address new ideas, questions, concerns, and try to brainstorm and put actions into place to address these ideas. We have meetings in our academic school. We have 4 meetings in our academic school year. Our next meeting will be November 4th at 6 to 7:30. We encourage all to come out and see what we are about and how we work to help our students and our staff in schools. I want to remind and encourage the school board to send out 5 recommendations of community members to join us in the SHAC. We look forward to sharing the wonderful works and ideas of SHAC with you all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next audience member is going to be Mr. Jonathan Alvarado as an introduction of himself and his role.
Good evening, President Rodriguez, members of the board, and Dr. Galaviz. I want to take this time during open forum to formally introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Alvarado. I'm the newest marketing specialist here in the Public Information Office. And I just want to thank you all for making this position possible. I look forward to collaborating, and I'm super excited to be part of the tremendous growth that's happening here, not only in the Canopio district, but the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next time.
Item number 4, Board of Trustees business. 4A, discussion and possible action on the selection of a 2024 delegate to the Texas Association of School Boards. Presenter, Mr. Armando Rodriguez.
At this time, I believe if anybody is interested or would like to make a recommendation and or a motion.
I would, sir.
Okay.
I would like to nominate Ms. Blanca Trout as the delegate to the TASB Association of School Boards, and Ms. Carrillo as alternate.
Okay. Is there
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion or recommendations? If not, Adrian, can you pull the board?
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Cimental?
Yes.
Mrs. Strong?
Yes, Miss Patsy, thank you very much, and I promise all the community that I'm gonna do my best. Thank you so much for all of you in your vote.
And Ms. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
I will take this to the next item.
Item 4E, Lone Star Governance Student Outcome Goal Presentation. Presenter Mr. Richard Moore and Ms. Jessica Yang.
Good evening, Dr. Galaviz and Board of Trustees. We come in tonight to talk about the Lone Star Governance Goal 3, really focused on college, career, military readiness. And with that, I really think we're on a good glide path. I'm going to show you that this evening. And it's a good news story. There's always room for improvement, things we want to focus on. So with that, we'll go to the next one. So you can see for the overall CCMR, we are exceeding our goals, and over the last couple of years, that's been on the rise. So we're currently at 82%. That is a 2025 year goal, so I'm excited because I think we'll bypass that for this year as well. If you have any questions as we go, let me know, otherwise I'll just keep going through. Can you go back one second? That way. So this is one area that it looks like we took a dip. Without making excuses, this cohort, when they were freshmen, was the COVID year. And because of the COVID year, we did not TSI test this cohort like we want. And as a result, you know you need the TSI before you can take those dual credit classes. And so we took a dip. But this last year, we really focused on TSI, and I'll get to that later. But I think we have a plan to really get that dual credit back on track, and I'm going to go into some details on that. Next slide, please. These are just so you know, here's the dual credit offerings at Kennedy High School and the early college. It's fairly robust. We are looking for ways to increase it. For example, Kennedy High School this year is introduced chemistry on-ramps through UT Austin, which is something currently that the early college offers. And after this first year, we're going to look to see where we can expand with that program and others as well. Also, the PTEC. PTEC program is going to also help us increase our dual credit because those students have to take Education 1300. So as I talked about, the UT on-ramps is new this year at the high school, and they've leveraged their partnership with the early college high school to set them up for success. That's why we chose chemistry, just like the early college. We wanted to choose a course that we would have good success, and we got right across the street, we have help. And just so you know, if a student takes just one dual credit class, they are 4 times more likely to complete a 4-year degree. So that's pretty good data. And so we really want to encourage dual credit, and we want to grow that program. And dual credit is really geared at those at-risk students, which are our students. It's open for anybody that wants to take dual credit. The only thing we have to do is we have to get them to pass that TSI first. And we want to encourage it to open to anyone. We're just not looking for the cream of the crop to take the dual credit. We want all students to be able to take dual credit classes.
And although there's other avenues to qualify through college readiness, like for STAR scores, CUT scores, we really feel that if they can pass that TSI, that's really what we want them to be able to do.
And so that's the one area that I think we want to focus on. And now this is how I think we're gonna really rebound on that dual credit. This last year, our focus was really TSI. How can we get those last year's seniors TSI, get them college ready, and then start backing off because we've been focused on the seniors. We really need to be focused on the 8th grade, 9th graders.
I have a question. Do we offer a course at our high schools for preparing for the TSI?
So we do offer one course that's brand new this year. It's called Dollars and Cents. It's through our marketing program. And as part of that course, they will take the TSI.
But does it prepare them for the TSI? Not that
it-
they'll take it for the TSI.
It does have a prep component for the TSI.
So, just as a suggestion, I want you, because we'll get points towards the letter grade by them, the kids taking that course.
Right.
But I don't know if this course is what, and I don't know enough of what the component of the course is, but I would suggest you reach out to the two FAR school districts, Isleta and Socorro, because they both offer the course.
Yeah.
And just passing that course helps also with our overall score because we're offering it to the kids so that they are successful in that TSI.
And so we do offer the college prep English and math at the high school.
Okay.
And that's the one that they do receive credit if they are successful in both. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
In addition to that, we do offer throughout the year TSI boot camps and bring the kids in and to help prep them up before they take the TSI course. And so, because it was a focus last year, we went from 36% to 54%. That's pretty big. And that's a precursor for taking dual credit. And so that's just gonna help us get dual credit back on track. And we're starting to now target, if we go to the next slide.
I do have a question in relation.
Oh, yes, Ms. Trout.
Yeah, for example, the TSI boot camps, are they gonna offer the option of online or gotta be in person?
So we have, our TSI boot camps are in person.
What
There-
happened to one of the students they got sick?
Let me finish, please. I got you. I think I'll answer your question, Ms. Trout. I think I will. So we want the boot camps in person. However, through Edmentum and other programs, online platforms that we offer, there is TSI prep and training. And when you sign up for the TSI, you're offered a whole suite of TSI prep for the students and the teachers, because we want the teachers to know that they're preparing the students correctly as well. So there's both.
Perfect. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
And so we are doing the boot camps, but we're also focusing earlier. Now, especially with Algebra 1, Algebra 2 being offered in the middle school setting, honors English, English 1. So those students that are taking those classes as 8th graders, we are giving the TSI, we give it once in the fall and once in the spring. And then again, this last year, we offered it during summer school on a voluntary basis if they wanted to come in on their own. And so we're getting them. And as a result, we were over, I believe this year's 9th graders, almost 24% of them were TSI ready already because we did that. And we're going to keep doing that.
What percentage of our 8th graders take Algebra 1 in 8th grade?
Well, the goal.
And then what's our goal?
The goal is to have 100%, of course, and now with the new 24-28,
Uh-huh.
at least 60.
That's what I'm asking, yeah.
At least 60% have to do that, and we're above that.
Okay, well, can you give me in the Thursday packet the percentage? Because I think that we really have to move towards that 100%. And also if we're really getting kids ready for college, that allows them to take more math courses during high school, so, and we know that.
Yes, ma'am. And then I did briefly mention that CT is offering a semester-long course called Dollars and Cents that the TSI will be part of that block of instruction.
Is that like financial literacy?
It is, but it's for lower grades. It's not personal financial literacy that the state, which is new for us. It's not that course. It hits on some of the same concepts, but a lot more business side of it.
I have a question.
how are we informing parents of the TSI testing dates?
So we have, each school, the middle schools and the high schools will do parent call-outs
Okay.
for that as well. We put it on the Google Classrooms, where we're also sending it home with the students' information.
I like that we're doing the call-outs, because I know in the past, of course, parents have complained, my students don't come home with anything,
Yes.
regardless if you put it in their hands or not, so, the call-outs are definitely gonna be helpful.
Ma'am, for example, 2 weeks ago, CHS did a call-out, and we had on the students' day off on the 21st, we had over 130 students sign up for the TSI.
Your parents knew, I mean.
The parents knew, the
Sorry.
parents encouraged them, that they
Yeah.
came in,
That's awesome,
and that's the value of that call-out.
absolutely,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am. Any questions on this?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
You said we were giving boot camps?
A boot camp, it's usually a 3-day course where they get some intense, couple hours of intense English language, how to write a good essay, how to read for understanding, because you have to answer, there's a reading component, there's an essay component, and then there's the math component of the TSI.
Of that boot camp, it's free of charge, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
And when do you propose to have this?
We offer it a few times a year. In fact, I was just talking with Ms. Maruco. We're offering another one towards the end of September. And it's teachers volunteer to help lead the boot camp. And the students come in on their own time, whether it's on Saturdays or intersessions, to do it.
It started last year, but we had it last year as well.
I commend you guys. I think we're on the right track. I think, you know, like Ms. Barnes said, notifying parents, calling them, that certainly makes a difference. I know it did at my house.
So, Coach, besides advanced academics, also social studies, I know you do a lot as the coach.
Yeah.
What else do you do, Coach?
Do I still coach? No, I'm really kind of tied up with the Rhinos and billeting them as well.
For us,
What do I do?
yeah, for the board. 'Cause
Oh, the board, I'm sorry.
I know you up and down the hallways.
Right,
I was
yes.
like, who's this guy telling me all this information?
So
So
I-
I apologize.
I apologize. I'm in advanced academics and social studies curriculum, so I'm the new Stacy Parker. Just not as pretty, you know. No,
I don't know who that is either.
no, from a couple of years ago. So, yes, I was at the high school, taught U.S. history and world geography for 4 years, and before that was 30 years in the military.
Richard Moore.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
And so finally, another good news, we're on a great glide path here with the industry-based certification. And that's because the CTE program, they're really working hard to build that and build that certification. Because some of it's changed, where some of the way you could get certifications or good CCMR points, no longer able to do that, but they've still been growing. We're definitely on the glide path to get to that 60%. And so out of about the 14 different ways you can get a CCMR point, we're only really addressing tonight about 4 of them. And how we're doing that, so our PTEC, our first cohort are now sophomores, so we're growing that program. And obviously getting them TSI tested before they enter the program. This last year, 239 of our graduates earned an industry-based certification. A lot of different areas that they can get that certification. And any other questions? I believe that was my last slide.
I actually do, and I'm sorry, it goes back to the TSI. You said that there were
Yes, ma'am.
3 different categories,
Yes, ma'am.
the reading, writing, and math.
That's right.
Are our students falling behind in any of those 3 particular categories that we need to focus on?
When I see them,
I would say math, TSI is algebra 2.
Okay,
yep.
And that way, that's how our, I mean, 8th grade,
Right,
They will
we
see
haven't,
Algebra 2.
they haven't seen it yet.
Haven't seen it yet.
But the other, reading and writing, we seem to score pretty well. I was concerned more about the writing, so I was a writing teacher, so.
Actually, the essays have been surprising for me. The number of students that pass the writing portion and need to retake the reading diagnostic portion.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, with the way the new test is formatted, it used to be you had to pass both. Now if you pass one, the reading component and not the writing, you still get credit for the reading and you can just attempt the writing.
Okay.
they've gotten smarter. They realize that a lot of these students have test anxiety.
Absolutely.
There was one. And so the first time they take it, they have to take the reading and the writing together. As they can take the math separate. But then after that first time, we can piecemeal it. Say, look, just come in and you're going to do just the essay.
Okay.
And then come back another time, and that way they get their minds right. We've had a lot more success
Doing that.
because it's relieving that stress on those students.
Absolutely. Okay.
It's also the first time city would test.
Yeah.
It's long. I know that's part of the. Never don't know what to expect. I think that's why that prep.
That prep is important.
Yes.
You know the timing, they know that environment.
Right, because the stamina is really important. I think a lot of times you'll even see if you break it down by scores, they'll start off strong, but they slowly fade off at the end because their stamina is not there. So, yeah, the Starbucks scores often. Thank you.
Any other questions?
In regards to, I guess it's four quadrants, right, under the CCNY.
Okay.
Am I correct in saying? And
Like the college, career, military.
Yeah, so I think one is, well, I think if we could get like a perspective of that, the quadrant, and then now, I read an article in regards to, which is crazy, but we know what the state's intent is when it comes to public ed. In regards to, it went from 60% to 80%, and I believe it's on the college, which quadrant is that? I was looking for the article, but you know what I'm talking about, Dr. Jean? The quadrant, in other words, TA is coming back, in regards to one of the quadrants and asked from the 61 to the 80%, and that's where
That was our
pretty much
side.
where he is, right? Yeah, I mean,
Everybody got a
that's what TA is trying to do, but of course we know what our state's intent is when it comes to privatizing public ed. But they're not saying that, and I wish the media were to cover that better, because it's not the good work that our teachers have already done. They're just trying to manipulate and hide a certain part of it to make public schools look bad. And so I think if we could get a graphic on how that looks, probably in the next, or maybe that's what should be our next one, is just, and I think that's how we need to educate the community, because TA needs to be held accountable for their manipulation and trying to make public ed look bad.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay, this is the last page. Maybe my question is related to this or not.
Okay.
We're talking about P-TECH, CTE, and everything. My question, it goes since this CCMR, career military readiness. What can you tell me about military?
So last year it was not part of last year it wasn't counted, CCMR for the military. This year it will be. And I can tell you that last year and this year, Cantillo High School offered the ASVAB to all the seniors, and they already have it scheduled for next month, I believe.
So we're promoting military as well, and
Yes,
we're
that's
offering that option to our students. This goes for both high schools, Cantillo High School, and early college as
The
well?
early college, I think Mr. Clark is here, I'm not sure. Same, they offer the ASVAB as well.
Which is a different point.
So it's up to today is kind of soon to see how many kids are enrolled.
And I think the hardest part is when they join the military is getting those students to provide us with the documentation, because you can't get the point unless they provide you with the documentation. So that's the hard part.
As well, maybe you can add some information to us in the Thursday package to see how is the school district and the campuses are promoting military career as well. It's very important for us because the kids, they do have a good opportunity just to join in the military as well. We need to let them know what kind of a good opportunities they have when they join the military.
Yes, ma'am.
Since I come from a military family.
As a 30-year veteran, I'm a
Sir, thank you
proponent for
so
the
much for
military.
your
So
service.
I'm definitely proponent and pushing and working with them.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for your service again.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you all. Any questions? Students? No? I'll take this to the next item.
Item 4C, consideration and appropriate action on a resolution authorizing 2 appointments to the Board of Directors of the Cantillo ISD Public Facility Corporation and resolve other matters in connection therewith. Presenter, Cantu Harden Montoya, Mr. Arnold Cantu.
We could either, if there's any questions, we could ask questions, or if there's a motion, we could approve.
I do have a question, and it's just really clarification for the community. So I know that we're going to be looking at appointing 2 trustees, and then it also says 2 additional directors of the Cantillo ISD PSC. So can you explain what the role would be for both the trustees and the additional 2 directors?
Sure, and again, for the record, Arnold Cantu with Cantu Harden Montoya serving as the district bond counsel. The way the PFC is set up was the 3 trustees would be de facto. Right? The members holding those 3 positions were the initial directors. The board as a whole would also appoint 2 additional directors of the PFC, who would be either trustees or members of the community, which allows for the district to pull in more expertise in whatever relevant areas it deems necessary. So with those 5, we would have 5 directors of the Cantillo PFC, which is what we've discussed. And those 5 directors of that PFC would exercise control over the PFC subject to the approval of the board. So this is probably akin to committees or advisory committees or boards within the district that we have, whether they be appointed by trustees or members of the public.
So you're saying it would be 3 trustees plus an additional 2 that could also be trustees?
Correct.
So my question then would be for legal, would that not be a quorum?
It's subject to the open meetings laws.
Yeah, we would have to.
It always is.
Okay.
We would have to then post for every, yes.
Okay. So we don't have to choose the additional people do not have to be trustees.
They do not.
Members from the community, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Of course.
Is there a motion for approval?
I do make the motion.
Is there a second?
Wait a minute. Who?
Huh?
Who would I
Named on
appoint?
You have to identify the people that you're
The
going to
persons.
appoint.
It's our board member that's going to be leaving us, Patricia Mendoza, and a previous board member, Monica Cáceres.
For the additional 2
Correct.
3 trustees?
And
So,
The 3 trustees were already appointed at the previous meeting, which was their officers. That's what he said. So now we have to appoint 2 more board members, and that's what we're doing today.
Okay.
You already have 3 members of the PFC, president, vice president, and secretary. You're appointing 2 additional members. They can be board members, do not have to be board members. They can be community members, but it needs to be made in the form of a motion.
Right. And she has a motion
She
to
did.
include those names.
But-
Well, it was, I thought
Can we appoint a member of the community right now?
Well, if you're going to fill these 2 positions tonight, it's on the agenda to do
I
exactly
would
that.
like to appoint a member of the community. Can I do that now?
Sure, I thought there was,
The resolution provided has two names on it.
They're blank.
There's no names here.
Okay.
okay.
Then,
Well, can I say the name of the community member that I would like to appoint? Yes, I would like to appoint Ms. Shannon Parr, a member of the community. Would you accept it, Ms. Shannon Parr?
I accept your nomination.
Thank you so much. And, someone else that you would like to appoint?
Is there a second? Because originally we had submitted a name of Patsy Mendoza and Monica Cáceres. And I guess that was not, the updated version of it was not added.
Yeah, but he says members of the community.
Yeah.
Maybe one more.
So if you wanna do your appointment
Yes.
and see if that gets voted in or not, that originally the
I need a second person.
no, well, we were gonna nominate, my recommendation was to nominate Patricia Mendoza and to nominate Monica Cáceres. So with that, is there a motion to nominate those two individuals?
But it goes along with the community member as well?
You have one motion.
Okay,
Was-
let's
was
second
it
that
seconded?
motion. Yes, I second that motion as well.
Okay.
But I would like to include my community member as well. Is that a separate motion?
That's you have a nomination, I need a second for that nomination.
I second. I made the motion, I'm sorry. I made the motion
She
already.
needs a second, correct?
Correct.
A second person, you need to nominate the second.
A second
No,
person.
no, no, you
doesn't
don't
have
have
to
to
second the motion.
to nominate.
But it's for two people,
Correct.
so if she's making a motion, she should make a motion for the two people she would like to nominate, correct?
Well, it could be two people, it could be one, it could be,
Well, then I will second her nomination for Shannon Park.
is there a motion to nominate Patricia Mendoza and Monica?
You can't do that. You have to vote on the motion that's on the table.
Okay. Okay.
I did the
then
motion already.
There's a motion, go ahead.
Is there any second?
Yes, she already
Okay.
seconded.
Can I have discussion? But I thought we had already decided, or it had been decided that we had two. Why are we adding?
There were two members.
And I didn't have that opportunity to bring my community member.
From what Ms. Rodriguez says, apparently there were two recommendations, but
They were
the
not
board has to
voted.
vote to approve it.
What about how did this happen, this part?
Because they weren't.
So how did this happen? And my point to this is that I didn't know that we could do that what she's doing, and so I didn't go look for my community member. You see what I'm saying? I was going based on what I had read in my pamphlet of the two we were recommending. So how does that work?
Why was the attachment not added? David?
We have the attachment, we do not have the names added on the
There was no
resume.
sent with the names added.
I saw it. So I'm confused, in the sense that, so I did my homework, I obviously know Miss Patsy, but I did my homework, and no offense, ma'am, I just don't know who you are or anything, and if we're allowed to bring our community members, I didn't know I had that.
If I may, I think the issue is I don't know if you knew the names because
You
of.
can nominate one if you want to.
Well, I
So you
didn't
have
ask
one.
anybody, I didn't know.
But I'm saying I think the issue is, I don't know if you knew the names because, you get the agenda as vice president, but the attachment that the rest of us got does not have names on it.
This came out now since he says that we can nominate someone from the community. I saw a community member here pretty active, why not to? You have another one, go ahead and enter.
So there's a motion and a floor to vote.
On the
Just-
standing.
And which hand? The second one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
No.
Ms. Mendoza?
No.
Mr. Rodriguez?
No.
Mr. Cimental?
No.
Ms. Strad?
Yes?
Ms. Zuniga?
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the, which is Patsy Mendoza and Monica Cáceres, which was emailed as well?
I do that.
There,
I will.
yep. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I'll take this to vote.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Abstain.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Sinata,
Yes.
Mrs. Strap,
Yes.
Ms. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That'll take us to the next item.
Item number 5, consent agenda voting.
Board President,
Sorry.
Trustee Barnes asked to pull 1A, 1A9, C1.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you repeat?
1A, minutes. 1A9, accountability lawsuit. And C1, the personnel. Is that correct, Ms. Barnes?
Yes, thank you.
And my understanding, Ms. Barnes, correct me if I'm wrong, that this request was made at 5 o'clock yesterday evening? 4:30? Or, well, 4:30 is the day, the school, I mean, your office closes at 4:30, right, for the rest of your staff? In the last couple of 3 months, it's been that same 4:30, is that correct? Around? And I guess my concern is to respect staff time, and maybe something we should revisit on the constraint. It should be probably 2 days before, because when staff leaves at 4:30, and the request is made for them to come back and still have to work on a board meeting and reply to those responses, I think it would be better to respect our staff's time, so that way we could get the answers needed.
Yes, I do agree with you. I was within the constraints listed. It's 7 days prior to the board meeting, so 24 hours falls within that. But I do respect what you're saying.
So you've had those for 7 days. And the other thing too is, I think it's important when we're making a request to ask the questions that are concerned, because under the Lone Star governance, the goal was to actually, if we had questions, ask those questions. You get the board packet 7 days before. 24 hours before was a date to actually ask those questions, so that way if they were addressed, then
They
the
don't
agenda
have to be
items don't have to be pulled. So-
Now, the reason that I asked for the last two to be pulled is because on the agenda, it does state that there is a discussion and a possible action. So I think that discussion is important, because we did speak at past board meetings that since we're under a deficit right now, anything that could affect our budget needs to be discussed before we
I'm not
vote on
at
it.
issue of pulling the items. What I'm at issue as requesting at 4:30 when staff is leaving, the next day there's a board meeting. I think we need to respect staff's time and do our homework due diligence before that.
Yes,
So
sir.
that way staff does not.
I am understanding what you're saying, yes.
1A, 1A9, and C1. What?
And you still want to pull those items after some of those questions were answered today?
So, those questions, I want to have discussion on, 9 and C1. I think that discussion is important, so I didn't ask questions on those. The agenda, I just want to pull for, something to, sorry, thank you.
Didn't notice my microphone was on. The agenda, I just want to pull for something in particular that I think needs clarification. So it wasn't a question, I just want something clarified on it before we approve it.
That wasn't a question to clarify.
It was not a question, no. I would like it clarified so it can be fixed before we approve it.
But then, like I said, it's important for us to ask those questions to staff prior.
Is there a motion?
Can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding 1A,
1A and
1A9?
C1.
C1.
I do make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can you pull the board agent?
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Sinata,
Yes.
Mrs. Strap,
Yes.
Ms. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 1A1.
Okay, so this is the board meeting minutes from July 23rd board meeting. And my clarifying, I guess, piece that I would like added to the minutes for 3E says discussion regarding past acquisition of sale of district-owned real property. Mr. Rodriguez presented Mrs. Barnes with a box of information regarding the past sale of land and summarizing documentation. No action was taken. I think it is important to mention there that that information was presented to me because I requested the information in February.
Trustee Barnes, we did look over the tape, and there is a statement that you say for clarification.
Yes.
Added.
If you wouldn't mind adding that, I did actually go back and watch that myself because I had thought that I said for the record, but I did not. So I respect the fact that that's not on there. If you would like to add that as basically changing this to state why it was presented, that would be sufficient
We
as
can't
well.
add minutes, we can't add stuff that wasn't discussed. So if you try to make it for the record now, but that's not.
It was discussed, but I did not say it for the
So
record,
it
so
can't
that's what,
be-
okay,
it
that's
can't
what
be
he's asking
changed.
now.
Whatever was said.
Yeah, it's whatever was said, you can't add, that what was not said to.
No, I'm not asking
She
that.
did say, quote unquote, for
For
clarification.
clarification.
So you could add.
So I could add my clarifying statement because it states that I requested this information. So as long as it's stated somewhere where here that the information was requested, I would be fine with that. Thank you. That was it on that.
You can make a motion.
So I make a motion to, is it to update or to approve with that update?
That.
To approve with the update? Okay. I motion to approve the minute meetings for Tuesday, July 23rd with the addition of my clarifying statement, to at the meeting.
I wasn't here, I wasn't present, so, but can I second it? Oh, second.
There's a motion and a second, Adrian, can you pull the board?
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Cimenta?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrub?
Yes.
Ms. Sonina?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item 5189. Discussion and possible action to participate in the lawsuit regarding Engage O'Hallen, Dinner, and Castillo legal counsels handling the case presented to Dr. Pedro Alavis.
Dr. Kirby, can you come up? Not a report on that.
Can we ask what the questions were?
Oh, yeah.
My question in regard to this is really just clarification. Since we are in a deficit, I want to make sure that we don't get ourselves into a dangerous situation with legal fees, right? So fees are mentioned in here, expenses are mentioned in here, but is there any type of cap to those that we are saying we are willing to contribute as a district to back up this legal document?
Not aware of it.
They haven't talked about it yet.
So are we looking at an approximation of what this is going to cost us?
Terminated at any time.
Pardon?
It's not a cap because it's a litigation matter, but the fee agreement with the O'Hanlon firm does have the termination provision that allows the district to terminate it at any time. If it became a situation where the district was uncomfortable or for some reason not satisfied with the work or fees being charged, you can remove yourself from the lawsuit. This is a large group of districts that have banded together for the purposes of pursuing that. It's been ongoing now for
Right.
over 2 years.
So we don't have it stated a cap of what that would be, or we're just gonna watch it as it continues to see if we wanna continue working with it?
Well,
I just wanna be
also,
clear.
right now, we don't know exactly how many districts are part
Yes.
of it, so, they were waiting to find out, as of last meeting that they had. So the more districts that are part of it,
Splits the cost, right?
price is gonna cost less, yes.
Okay.
What we could do, Trustee Barnes, is contact O'Hanlon tomorrow, ask currently how many districts.
That's good. That would be smart.
Us, Meadows, number.
I think that would be smart. since we're in a deficit, I think that's something that we need to be smart about. I mean, being part of this is really important because we need to make sure our voice is being heard, but at the same time, we can't put ourselves in a risky situation that, you know, would hurt our district in the long run. So I think it's important that we're planning.
I think there's unintended consequences if we do not participate in regards to, as we see in the past, looking at, and that's why I think we need an update on that, because what TA did in justifying those 20% dropped us to a B, which does not have, it's not looking at the real work that our district is doing. They manipulated or hyped a number just like Enron back in the
Agreed.
days.
Yep.
And what they went after districts, I mean, the hypocrisy behind that does have unintended consequences for our district.
It does.
And does not value the hard work that our teachers have done to get where we're at.
I agree with you 100%, Mr. Rodriguez. Yep. But we do have to also make sure that we're keeping an eye on our pocketbook.
We've done this before, and it's a minimal cost in regards to the share agreement.
Okay.
It's not.
Perfect. I'm good then. That was my question.
Do I have a motion?
I motion to pass the memorandum of understanding.
You can do a motion to approve.
The memorandum of understanding as provided by, not this week, but.
O'Hanlon.
Sorry. I motion to approve the memorandum of understanding that is presented. Second.
Okay.
Was that a second by Mrs.
Yes,
Strauss?
by Ms. Strauss.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Cimentar?
Yes.
Mrs. Stroud?
Yes.
Ms. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
I'll take this to the next item.
Item 5.1C1.
So I asked to pull this for the same reason for the other, just simply this is going to affect our budget, and I know we have requested anything that could affect the budget that we adopted that we discussed prior to voting on. So my main question is, I know that at the beginning of the year when we were looking at aids, we did not approve the kinder aids, so we had cut those, my understanding, we had cut those extra kinder aids during the RIF process, correct?
That's correct.
But pre-K, I was under the impression during that time that pre-K aids we were keeping and that we had. So are these additional pre-K aids and special education aids that are on here?
Yes. Now, if I just want to go over that Petaluma High School, the 2 sped aids. We're looking at, there's a teacher position that they've given up, and they want to convert that into 2 aids. So we have the funding for that. Going back to the ROTC instructor, I know that we talked about that during the budget season, and that was one of the saving positions that we were going to close. We ended up doing that, but I'm here before you to ask for it to be reopened. The Navy has contacted us based on their agreement, and they're saying that there should be 2 positions, and they fund those positions about 50%. However, if we want to just keep the 1, then we have to pay it at 100%. They're willing to fund it if we have the 2 positions.
Can I ask a question on that? I'm okay with the others, but I do have a concern about the ROTC. Because there was a gentleman in that position that we cut and that I received a very long email from. That is sad. That is sad that all of a sudden, did we do our due diligence and call the Navy and say we want to keep this second person? We want, will you help us 50%? Because I do have issue with that. When I saw this, I was like, what? I mean, we put our faces up here and said, we're going to cut because of this deficit, and a human being was affected. Are we rehiring him?
That position was eliminated due to a personnel matter. And so at the time, we did close it because the employee was terminated. Ms. Carrasco, are you gonna, I'm sorry, do you finish, ma'am?
Yeah, no, I'm not finished, but go ahead, I'm good.
So you need to open it and you're going to publish this position, so that same person has the opportunity to reapply again for this position?
No, ma'am, the same person is not rehirable in our district. So it will be posted, the position will be posted, and if you recall, we talked about that in closed session, the rationale, for that ROTC position, that we closed. And so at this point in time, at that point, yes, we have discussed it, with, the Navy, and, they were, agreeable at the time that we keep the one officer, so we went ahead and closed it. But since then, we've received a letter and saying that they would prefer to have the two. And they say it's totally up to us, but they will help funding, which they've done in the past, only if we have two. If we only have one, then we're fine, but we have to pay that at 100%.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that at all. For the record, I don't have a problem with that at all. I was always proponent of two in there, and I think that ROTC is very valuable to kids, especially nowadays. I apologize, I do not remember there being a personnel issue, and I didn't know it was that same person. Or maybe I do remember that there was a personnel issue, but not that it was that same person. So, if we're square on that and we're sure, I'm fine as far as that's concerned.
And we just need one person, right, for this position?
Yes, just one, because we have one on staff already.
And I need to underline something, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Can I open up a can of worms?
Yes, no.
Well, I asked council, and that's what I was looking at, because there is another list that staff wanted to bring to us, and, when we discussed it with, at the, agenda, meeting, my thought process has been the fact that, well, one, they're trying to add other positions, they're trying to, but.
I want to make sure that you're factual, because we want to add other positions in grant, other positions like you have a position.
Well, can you give us a list of the other people that you want to add and where that
Well,
money is coming from?
let's finish this agenda item, and then we'll.
Well, this is part of the agenda item.
Well, Ms. Barnes is the one that wanted to pull it, and everyone else is asking questions, and Ms. Barnes.
No, I was gonna pull it too.
Discussion is good, that's what I wanted to pull.
Yes, so just to finish, I'm giving you the explanation of the two that we have funding for. Now, I mean, we're not doing this lightly. We want to make sure, I mean, I met with the principals on the 19th and the 20th. We went through their numbers. And there were some that we ended up being able to fix internally by collapsing classes so that we didn't have to come and request additional teaching positions or additional aid positions. I know as far as the SPED aids, and as you can see on the list I provided, those are the campuses that requested special education aids. I spoke to the special education director to ensure that that was, you know, what they needed. I did pose a question to her saying that I know that our enrollment numbers have dropped from last year, and here we are adding staffing as far as special ed. She told me that the eligibility for students has increased from last year, and the severity of the students has increased. Runners severely medically involved, so they're needing the extra help. Now I know, to answer the question, our numbers have dropped from last year, but I can see from the numbers that the enrollment numbers, the lower grades, kinder, Montessori, pre-K, those and SPED, those numbers are increasing. And at the same time, I know that Ms. Moreno was telling me that they have a lot of students that they're going to be testing that more than likely will qualify. So I may be back here to ask you for additional staffing if they get all those kiddos
qualified into the program and they get tested.
Yeah, that's what I want to underline. Definitely, we need to provide the service that our students need. Something in that department that I would like to underline and support is the special education. We really need to provide what the students need. And also as well, I think, I know that we need a teacher over there in Diana Davenport as well, because we do have already the students and the ROTC. I just want to put it for the record that we know that we already have, Ms. Cooley, I'm gonna make you some questions, please. That we have a deficit of $2,750,000 to allocate and to put this staff is gonna cost us $300,000. So I want you please to help me to understand how we're gonna cover this, how we're gonna balance this debt.
This would have to be funded through fund balance. We don't have additional revenue that's gonna be coming in to cover
I can
this.
barely hear you, I'm sorry, ma'am. Maybe your microphone is off.
So we will have to cover this through use of fund balance. We don't have additional revenue that will be coming in to support it. A portion of it is already in the budget. One of the two of the aids will be covered, and but that's really where the money will come.
So maybe we're expecting more enrollment, right? And that's the way that we could be covered a little bit. It will alleviate about this. It's a tough decision because we know that our students are in need and we need to provide whatever, the students need.
The question,
Where's the
if I might
responsibility?
add to
Yes,
that, the
please.
question that I have is, if we're having an increase in students, shouldn't we have an increase in funding, whether it's ADA or whether it's special?
Overall, we haven't had an increase in students. We have increases in certain populations. However, overall, we're still short. I believe the last number I saw was 45 students from what we budgeted for. So that's about 200, almost 300,000 in revenue that we have not, is not materialized.
So going back to the collapse and stuff, then why aren't we looking at if the demographics shifted a certain way in a different grade level or a different classroom? Because we're not getting more students.
Well, but can I add something, Mr. President? Historically, though, how does Canutillo fare after Labor Day? Because historically in school districts, enrollment goes up after Labor Day. Is that our track record here as well?
We do normally increase, usually by snapshot, we will increase enrollment. The trend usually shows that. So we are hoping to at least recover the 45 students that we've budgeted for, and it would be great if we could surpass that.
And do we have active recruitment efforts going on right now?
I believe so. We're promoting the schools.
Do we? Yeah.
To alleviate a little bit this, that why don't we select something that is really urgent right now, that we really need it, what is urgent, and the other positions, maybe we could leave it until we have a little bit more income. So definitely, my first choice will be special education. The kids that cannot be unattended, and the other ones that we need it. So that maybe Dr. Galavis would tell us exactly what is urgent right now, so we could staff it now, and the other ones.
Well, and just for a little piece of experience, pre-K, we have to think of safety, number one, and having so many 3 and 4-year-olds or just 4-year-olds in the classroom with one adult is an accident waiting to happen.
But you see, all of them are important. We see.
Yeah, they're important, yeah.
All the positions are important right now.
And I think they've already cut some. I think these were already the most.
We already summarized it and we already extract what we really need,
yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. So these are like the most
needed
right now, and they're the babies, really.
Yes, so that's why I'm asking, Ms. Cooley, how can we alleviate just the debt? And we're expecting the enrollment, right? And that's one of the ways that we could expect revenue.
Right, if our enrollment goes up, of course, our revenue.
And chances are?
There's really no way to say. Like I said, currently we're short 45 students from what we budgeted for. Whether we'll recover those students by the time the snapshot and throughout the school year, that's yet to be seen.
What do you think, Dr. Galavis?
Snapshot. Well, that's why we hired the marketing specialist. Those kids.
I think, so going back, are you?
Awesome, thank you very much.
So, there's a reason why there's a budget process. And within that budget process is one request that are trying to come to the board, my biggest thing was the fact that this has a direct impact on kids. And so the board, if we want to decide that, we have to decide that tonight. If there was another list of requests, some is funded by federal money, some is funded by grant money, some is not funded, but in reality, there's more positions and movement of positions that are gonna cost the district money that don't have a direct impact, and that should wait for budget season. And so that's a conversation I wanna have with the board, because it's not my decision, but that's something that administration is trying to bring to us. And I'm extremely frustrated at the fact that last year we were extremely well of minimizing our budget deficit. And during the summer, we discussed when we approved the budget that you all need to continue to do that, because we're still in a budget deficit. We don't know what's gonna happen this coming year. And at the end of, what's gonna happen if we have insurance costs? We can't afford to pay our teachers what the market is paying near us, and we're losing teachers. There's some serious consequences when we continue to go down this deficit budgeting, and I'm not going down that route anymore. I gave you a year, and you all need to continue to figure out how to address a budget deficit.
Well, if I remember right, on this item right here, Ms. Barnes brought up, there's 9 positions, right, that we're asking for, and 3 of them, they're not gonna cost us anything, right? Because our OTC guy, if we get the extra guy, will be paid from the military.
That'll be 5%.
Well, 50%.
Yes, 50%.
Skills.
A portion, 50%.
And then the 2 aides for the high school, they're already, we're getting rid of a teacher, so that's gonna cover that.
Yes, we have a position that we can.
And as far as them bringing stuff up for our budget and stuff, you all, I'm sorry, I remember I was sitting right here and you all gave us a plan to be at 0 budget and we didn't approve it. We changed it. So it's not just them, it's us too. So I think we gotta work together better and get this done.
If you're talking about closing the school, that's different.
Well, no, I'm talking about, they gave us their recommendation. Right now you're telling them they're recommending this and that, but they gave us a recommendation how to fix it, and we didn't do it. So now.
No, when we approved the budget, we actually decided not to close any of the schools. And the other was the fact that when we continued throughout the budgeting process, we had that conversation without the other. And it started off at one point something and it continued.
Oh, why, it was, I mean, it was part of our decision, part of the recommendation was to close. Right?
And have unintended consequences and have more kids missed out.
And what are we doing now? We're doing this, it's happening, now it's happening, now we have to hire the people, because students don't have enough teachers.
There's another list. Go over the list that you guys.
Well, let's go on,
I didn't bring the other list.
I asked Mr. Blanco, this is part of the 2004 to 2024, 2025 requests for staffing that you all are looking at.
They're not asking for that.
Huh?
They're not asking for that in this item though.
No, they're asking, part of the original item was another list of.
But that's not what they're asking for tonight, they're asking for that.
So
That's all you're considering
I
tonight.
asked you right now.
You can talk about it, but they're not asking you for it.
No, I know, but I wanna talk about it because I think it's important
I
that.
don't have that list ready.
Can you go over the list that was provided?
We don't have that list ready.
I don't have the list
I don't have that
before
list
me.
ready. This is what we want tonight.
Yes, I
This
was
is what
told that
we-
we bring that back next month.
And
Can we bring
what
it-
did that include?
Can you get it?
What did that include so that way the board could have the
We
foresight?
don't have that list ready. I'm telling you, we don't have that list.
Well, what was, you can't tell us.
Not on top of my head. I don't
I'm
wanna.
asking your staff, not you.
I'm telling her too. We went over it together. As legal's looking at you perplexed.
I think we need to focus on what was presented tonight, and my questions have not been fully answered yet. So, pre-K aides, we're still looking at 3 more pre-K aides.
But that's Ms. Barnes, I'm sorry, but we need to know what are we gonna be approved and what is coming in order for us to take a decision. If we don't know what is in the future, we're gonna take a decision right now, and then here comes the wave. We need to know what are we gonna approve today, because it's gonna impact tomorrow.
Well, but they're not asking for that, that's what.
They're only asking for
No,
this,
no,
we
but-
can't make a motion on something that's not.
I know, but I
presented.
want to have the idea, what are we going to approve tonight? I wanted to know what is going to become. I mean, I'm gonna take the decisions right now, I'm gonna vote, my vote counts, and I need to know, what am I gonna approve tonight? Because it's coming. I know
But they
that-
might decide they may not bring it, cause they're discussing it, right?
In other words, I wanted to see what is very important right now and what is coming, and then I'm gonna make my
It's
decision.
coming the next month.
Exactly. It's important for us to evaluate, okay, I'm gonna take the decision. I did make my decision. Some of the positions I don't like them here. I have my decision already, but I wanted to know what is coming. So I need to know the decision to take it, okay, it's coming next time. How much am I gonna invest, how much am I gonna put in debt, and how much are they gonna put in debt tomorrow? Or the next item, or the next month? That's it. I know the vote is for what we got here. But we're voting with the closed hands. What is coming? We don't know what is coming.
Well, I can tell you that, as Ms. Chloe has said, that there's possibly an increase in students by snapshot. So this is kind of a moving target. In the past, I know that if you all recall, I used to call them PES, and I would say, I need, 10 PES, and you all would approve that. And I would use them as needed, if we needed the position. Right now, we're bringing positions to you as the need arises. For example, that one at Davenport, I've got a combo class of kinders and pre-Ks, and I've got 27 kids in that, 27 students in that one classroom.
Is this Diana Davenport?
Yes.
Yes,
And so I don't have any other classrooms to collapse. I don't have any other teaching positions that I can pull to give Davenport that relief that they need another teacher in that.
If I may, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think the thing is that we have to act on this, right? And for me, this deals with the direct impact on students, and so I would recommend that we approve this, but I would recommend also to staff to come back to us with a way that they're gonna continue to address the budget deficit.
Okay, but if I may, so I'm still perplexed as to, okay, so you just spoke about the monolingual kinder teacher at Davenport.
That's correct.
So when we budgeted at the beginning of the year, we budgeted for a combo class? That's what was intended, or my impression was that we had a teacher for every grade, so how did we end up with a combo class?
No, ma'am. Basically, what happened is that the numbers at what I'm looking at the elementary level, the Montessoris, the pre-Ks, the kinders, those numbers have increased. So yes, I mean, we're short overall enrollment, but at that grade level, those numbers have increased. I mean, I do have classes that are right at the limit of our staffing guidelines, and so of course they were denied. We can't have another teacher, but maybe by October, if we get 2 or 3 more kids, I may have to come before you again and ask once that limit is exceeded.
And what do you mean by combo? Like a bilingual 60-40?
No, they've combined the pre-Ks because again, we're trying to save on teachers, so it's a combination of a kinder and pre-K.
Have we looked at the 60-40 model? Because it's very doable, and it's actually, research has shown that we can combine bilingual with monolingual kids. Because what are our bilingual numbers?
Dr. Kearney, are you aware of the bilingual numbers? Or Dr. Arellano?
For Davenport. No, for the kinder. Because we're saying we need a full FTE for 5 kids. Because 22, yeah, and you said you have 27. Yeah, but 22 is the cap, right? Remember, I did this for a long time. Okay, so for 5 kids, have we looked at the 60-40 model with our bilingual kids where you have 60% bilingual and 40% monolingual? And it's with parent requests. What are our bilingual numbers in kindergarten and Davenport? That saves you tons.
We've also had, in regards to the issue of, I prefer the 50-50 model is what's recommended, and we have.
Well, that's for dual language, but this is for like, if it's a bilingual teacher, bilingual funded, it has to be 60-40
Yeah, but
for funding.
well,
at Davenport, right now we have, where the parents that have chosen that model are in that class. We haven't just opened it up to monolingual students that don't want it or whatever, or it's just a 50-50 with some kids that want to learn.
But this is dual language, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm talking, you don't have a bilingual class at Davenport?
We do.
Okay, so what's the enrollment in the bilingual kinder class? Where's the bilingual
I
director?
don't
Who
know
does
which
bilingual?
classes she's getting the FTE for. That's the.
Because you can mix
model.
bilingual with monolingual kids, and nothing
Right,
to do
and
with
that's
dual
what we
language,
do.
nothing to do with the 50-50. But that's done to save on FTEs, and it's actually quite healthy for kids, and some parents prefer it.
Good evening, members of the board. So I do have some numbers. Kinder was heightened that we weren't expecting at Davenport, so two-way dual numbers are 21.
It's a 50-50 model in all the classes.
District-wide, it's dual language.
Okay, so it's 21, and how many of those dual language?
It doesn't specify.
How many classes are there dual language?
There is only one, because it's a small campus. So it's 21 in that two-way dual, and then it's on the combo, when it comes to Kinder, we have 15.
With 2 teachers?
Well, the combo has both Kinder and pre-K. So
But it's 2 teachers?
One.
For 50 kids?
No.
15.
Oh, 15.
That's right, 15.
Well, there, I mean, that still has 7 slots.
And then how many
She's
she's
combined, there's one teacher, she's combined, she's separated them on the schedule, but she's doing.
So they're stacked in the same classroom.
Correct, but you said 15.
15 are
If you go to
kindergartners.
22.
15 are kindergartners, and then 11 are pre-K, because they're all in that same
Oh, okay, I'm misunderstanding you. Okay, so there's only 3 sections of kindergarten, 1 dual language
There's 2. So there's one dual language, and there's one mono.
combo.
Right.
I just think we're missing the question. So, at the beginning of the year when we did our budgeting, did we know that we were doing a combo class for pre-K kinder at that time at Davenport? Because that was not the impression that I got. I thought we budgeted for a pre-K and a kinder teacher at that campus.
Yes, and I think that it's, again, based on the numbers that they're receiving, that they're getting. I think at one point we had bused the students over to BCE, and now the numbers have grown at Davenport.
But if we budgeted for a pre-K and a kinder teacher, then why do we have a combo?
I agree.
Where did the combo come from? Is what
We had a combo class last year.
Okay, so we just kept
with
that.
a different teacher,
Okay.
yes. We just kept that, yes.
Okay.
So historically, we do pre-K and kinder by forecasting the numbers based on the prior year, since we don't know availability. Usually those are just rolled over Ms. Barnes, and this particular section happened to be like that because of low enrollment. And then if you follow it on in first grade, you're going to find that low enrollment.
Okay, that makes sense. See, I thought we had 2 separate teachers last year, so I was wondering where the combo came from this year. So I think that was a misconception for all of us, because I know Ms. Barnes just said the same thing. So that makes sense, that we need our numbers grew in that area, so we need a new teacher. So now, I know you said pre-K numbers grew, I'm assuming at those 3 campuses, Jose Damian, Canview Elementary, and Bill Childress, and those are the reasons for those additional aides. They grew that much at all 3 campuses?
As far as I know, yes, and internally the principals shift their teachers around and to accommodate the number of students. So having said that, then they're short on aides.
So an original pre-K aide was not shifted to another aide position somewhere else. Is that what you're trying to say?
The pre-K aides that we had, I know that there were at least a couple that were paid with ESSER funding. And as we were transitioning last year, trying to do the budget cuts, some of those were transitioning into other positions. So right now, because of that increase, like I said, the Montessoris, the kinders, I mean, the numbers there have grown. And so as the principals rearrange their teachers within the campus, then that's where we're shorting, with the aides.
Okay, because during our budget discussions, I know that pre-K aides and Montessori aides were both discussed, and we made sure that every pre-K classroom and Montessori classroom was budgeted with an aide. So unless we opened up 3 new pre-K classrooms, I'm not really sure where those aides are coming from unless they were absorbed somewhere else without permission.
Well, the staffing is their prerogative, we just vote on what it is. But going back to what Ms. Chop said, because I agree with that, is where can we save here so when the other come? So here's my question to this, is it's hard for me to vote yes on a kinder monolingual teacher for 5 kids. Because then, how does that split? It's 5, right? Because you said it's 27.
5, 0.
15. So,
1, 5, there's 15 and 12.
So that's 27 combined.
Yes, and
Yes.
all in one classroom.
Yes, because you've done that in the past, you just said, and that's what you budgeted for. So really, it's 27 in a class, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So the law allows us for 22,
That's correct.
right? And 5, we're over 5, right? So there's some options. We can ask for a waiver from the state to be over 22, or one of these aides go in there and we have a teacher and an aide with 27 kids, and it's a lot less expensive than a whole FTE. Have we looked at that? Because we do have to have cost saving, we're in a deficit. And we can't just say, oh, I need another FTE. And I understand you, because I've been on your side, but we also have to problem solve. And there's a lot of ways where we need to look at ways. I struggle with getting another FTE for five kids.
Yeah.
Now, if you are telling us now, well, we don't want a combo, we want pre-K 10, and kinder 15, that still doesn't make it. Yes.
I think the thing is we could go into, I know you have more experience, which is good, but I think the question is, are we gonna go with the recommendation of administration on this item and my recommendation?
All that I have is one question, Mr. Chair, before I issue my vote. And this one goes, maybe Dr. Rica, you're gonna help us for this. We're asking for pre-K aid in Jose Damian Elementary. How many students we have for kinder aid?
10, but there were 15 kindergarten teachers, right?
How many?
I'm
And the same goes to Canutillo Elementary, and I know Bill Childress. But still, I need, for the record, I need to know how many students we have in order for us to say yes or no to the pre-K aides. I know perfectly that Canutillo High School, they need special education aides. We really need to serve those students as well. I know Diana Davenport needs it in Canutillo High School, ROTC. But I wanted to know about this pre-kinder aides.
And the monolingual kinder.
Exactly. So, how many students we have for Jose Damian?
We have 17 pre-K students in two-way dual at Jose Damian, and 12 in monolingual pre-K.
And how many, and where was the aide gonna go?
So at this point, if you don't feel comfortable with that, and if we need to, then we'll just put in a substitute to help them, especially during the beginning of the school year. And how much will be to pay a substitute? Right now, I know that the campuses have funds in their sub-accounts.
Okay.
So right now, if they.
But the budget, their own budget.
Yes.
The campus budget. Well, but that's not fair to that campus. Just in all fairness, it's not, because they use those subs for when teachers are out, they charge them staff development and things like
All
that.
that I'm thinking about the debt that we have creating here.
Yeah.
$100,000 on top of the $750,000.
And I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you, but here's the thing, is you're asking for 27 kids, essentially, you're asking for an aide, and you're asking for a kinder monolingual FTE.
What the principal wants to do is separate that class and not have she wants to separate the kinder and the pre-K. And what we have here?
That's on the bottom.
And the recommendation for administration, the whole list?
That's what the,
Okay.
that's, Is
Okay.
a recommendation for the full list, or you're saying one?
No, that's why we have questions, because now she's saying, oh, it's because we want another FTE because the principal wants to separate the pre-K and kinder, which is best practice, because I don't agree with, and that's my personal
What about
opinion.
Canotilla Elementary? How many students we have over there? Pre-K, of course. And pre-K, how many students we have in Canotilla Elementary?
Thirteen in one section and 18 in the other section.
13. And then we're gonna put them together, or no?
No, you're talking about 8 schools.
8, okay, 13. And we know, Diana, that in Fort we have 15 and 15 and 12.
My recommendation was to approve administration's recommendation with them coming back to a way to continue to chip at the budget deficit. Is there a motion for that?
I'll motion for that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Adrian, can you pull the board?
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
No.
Ms. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Cemental,
Yes.
Mrs. Strout,
No.
Ms. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now I'll take this.
Thank you, board.
Can I say something before we move on? I just wanted to remind the board about Friday. It's the ribbon cutting ceremony for our partnership with Goodwill. I know it's not on the agenda, but, we all received an invitation, and I hope those of us that can be there, I know Ms. Trout will be there because that's near and dear to her heart.
Yes.
Those of us that can be there will be there.
First
Do we know
football
what
game.
time?
9.
At Canopio
Football
High School.
game will be at 7:30, not 7 o'clock. Canopio High School, Knuckleheads.
Okay, what is gonna be 7:30, Dr.?
The football game, our first football game,
When?
Friday night,
We have
7:30.
tickets?
You're gonna win, TJ?
Sure. You have their passes?
Yes, sir.
That will take us to where we're doing, right?
Item number 6, meeting adjournment. Time is 7:30.